stars, when it comes to the latest Shanquella Robinson news and updates, it is clear that Shanquella Robinson's family is not giving up. They're urging White House officials to push forward with extradition process of American suspect. The family of Shanquella, thankfully, are determined to seek justice after she was unalived during a trip to Mexico last October. Their attorney, Sue Ann Robinson, said, quote, "There are red flags everywhere. Shanquella Robinson's family is deeply disappointed after the FBI would not release autopsy results. Now we know that, but at this critical juncture, it's so important that the family doesn't give up and that they remain determined to seek justice, even if that justice is slow to come. Quote, currently, actively, and since April, we have been requesting the FBI's documents because the case is closed," Sue Ann said, citing how it contradicts the response her family received during a follow-up inquiry. Quote, "We have been advised in writing that they cannot release the documents because the case is actively being investigated." Well, which is it? Shanquella had traveled to San Jose del Cabo last year and only knew one person on the trip. Less than 24 hours after the group landed, Shanquella was tragically found unalived. 3 of the travel mates told her mother she was unalived because of, quote, alcohol poisoning, before there were clues pointing to foul play. As previously reported, U.S. investigators said they found no evidence to support filing federal charges in the unaliving of the 25-year-old from Charlotte, North Carolina, earlier this year. Based on the results of the autopsy and after a careful deliberation and review of the investigative materials by both U.S. attorneys' offices, federal prosecutors informed Ms. Robinson's family today that the available evidence does not support a federal prosecution, a statement from authorities read at the time. An autopsy conducted in North Carolina by the Mecklenburg County Medical Examiner's Office had inconsistencies with a previous autopsy conducted in Mexico, which labeled the cause of unaliving a severe spinal cord or neck injury. People, we have seen the videos. This is, quote, "The discrepancy with the autopsy has to do with the fact that the FBI had local Mecklenburg County coroner do an autopsy after the body had already been embalmed for transport for burial," Sue Ann told sources. Of course, it's different. Now that the family wants to view the file to see how the FBI investigated the case, the Robinsons, as well as us, are eager to know, are they done or not? That is so confusing and so crazy. Quote, "The second issue we are currently facing is the political process that is getting a high level of diplomatic intervention," Sue Ann told the press. "The family has no support from local representatives." That's wild. No support from state senators, nothing other than us, which is something. I'm talking about they have local state reps, Congress members, that their purpose is to serve as a liaison for their constituents, that aren't doing one single thing. Quote, "We're working on it," she continued. "The actual politicians that are supposed to be doing it are doing nothing." And I believe it. Time is passing. Witnesses are drifting. Memories are fading. Physical evidence is not as fresh as it once was. Sue Ann explained the third thing is there are a lot of people online making up stories about Shanquella and her family and her mom and her sister, what they do and what the case is really about. And none of it is based on fact at all, and not based anywhere in fact at all. It's just literally people like trolls and random people that have come across different things and come up with their theories, the family attorney added. I mean, it's good if they're keeping people talking about the case, but not if it's giving actual elected officials that could help the idea that they don't have to. As for what led up to Shanquella's tragic end, Sue Ann noted that she went on the trip last minute because others had dropped out. A disturbing video that later emerged showed Shanquella being beaten by one of the travel mates shortly before she was unalived. Local prosecutors in the state of Baja California, filed charges late last year against the woman suspected of unaliving Shanquella on October 29th, issuing an arrest warrant for the unnamed suspect, I think we know, who had already left Mexico with other travel companions after she was found unalived. Mexican federal prosecutors. Oh, this is such a crazy story. It's so just disturbing. Mexican federal prosecutors are trying to get her extradited to face charges, but are still waiting on the United States. Sue Ann told sources, quote, "I think the issue that the family has chosen at this time to focus on is Biden administration, Secretary of State Blinken, you know, the one who plays the guitar or the bass. Can you please send somebody down to the fax machine, open the email, however you get your info from Mexico, open it up, have it read by the other secretary who takes care of the Western Hemisphere and start the extradition process." Stars, I'm with it. I'm tired of these dastardly people, especially when the victims are women of color, just thinking they can backslide and hee hee ha ha, and it's just never going to turn into anything, right? Are we finally seeing the wheels of justice starting to turn, or do you and I need to get on the internet and make a ruckus? Because there's ain't no way in the world that this woman just injured her spine or her neck and at 25 is no longer with us. No. Let's get to work, people. We got to spread the word and get active. This is unacceptable.